The POCO F1. Xiaomi sub-brand POCO has managed to deliver a Snapdragon 845 at 21,000 rupees. This seems like an amazing deal and it sounds almost too good to be true. And you know what they say, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Now, is that the case here with the POCO F1, or has Xiaomi and sub-brand POCO managed to pull off something phenomenal? Let's find out in today's video. But before we do, if this is your first time here or in case trying to figure out what POCO stands for has gotten you all confused, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech. As always, card to our regular giveaways, links in the description below, and while you're down there, hit that bell icon. Do it right now, become part of the C4E Tech notification squad. Let's now get started. For a paperless and easy way to apply for a credit card, check out the Bank Bazaar app, links in the description below. Let's first start with the positives. Of course, the big one, Snapdragon 845 at 21K. The Snapdragon 845 is Qualcomm's flagship chip this year, and it's found on phones that cost a lot more. So when it comes to performance, the POCO F1 delivers, whether it's jumping between apps, browsing or playing games, or even intensive titles. The POCO F1 has absolutely no issues. Additionally, the 845 here is liquid cooled, so the F1 is able to sustain peak performance longer. From a heat dissipation perspective, the plastic build means it doesn't feel as warm as say metal. The phone itself runs cool to begin with, so no issues there. While we are on the topic of specs, common omissions from Xiaomi's flagships are in fact present here. This is one of the reasons why POCO was spun off into a sub-brand. There's a hybrid slot to help add memory if needed, and the headphone jack. It's quite good, the output. It's clean and loud. To round off the specs, we've got a 4000 mAh battery, which again is not common for phones with the 845 chip. This battery can easily last you an entire day, even with heavy use. To give you some perspective, the battery life is about 35% better than on the OnePlus 6. It's worth mentioning that Xiaomi has provided support for quick charge and an 18-watt charger is included in the box. Then there is the display. We have a notch up top. It's a 6.18-inch IPS LCD panel with a 18.7:9 aspect ratio. The resolution is Full HD+, the screen looks good, colors and viewing angles are excellent, and brightness isn't an issue either. So whether I was watching videos or shooting images outdoors, it didn't let me down not once. And it is also worth mentioning that this panel is covered by Corning's Gorilla Glass 3 for protection. So talking about protection, Xiaomi claims to be using a water repellent nano coating, much like the Moto G devices of the past. So taking this one out in the rain shouldn't be an issue. Now, as far as security goes, the fingerprint scanner works as expected. The front camera comes with an infrared sensor, so face detection is more accurate even under low light. Talking about cameras, the 20-megapixel selfie shooter on the POCO F1 is right out of the Mi 8. It's quite impressive. The skin tones, the details, it's all good. For the rear camera, we get two. A primary 12-megapixel sensor, which is again straight out of the Mi 8. Sony's IMX363, but this time it comes with a f1.9 lens and there is no OIS. The secondary sensor is a 5-megapixel depth sensor. And a good lighting, the performance was very good, again, since it's right out of the Mi 8. Of course, like I said, the lens is different, but the details are retained, the dynamic range, it's very good. Here are a few more examples, see for yourself how well this camera performs. Under low light, the performance takes a hit, but for the segment, the F1 did perform well. It came up short against something like the OnePlus 6 in our tests, but blew the Honor Play away. So for the segment, it's very good. The larger than average 1.4 micron sized pixels do help. A secondary sensor means there is a portrait mode implementation and the results are the best in class. And now with that, we are done with the positives part of this video and let's move on over to the cons, the negatives. Wait, we haven't talked about video yet, right? Well, that comes under cons. Now, this is not a major negative, it's mostly me nitpicking, but the Snapdragon 845 chip supports 4K 60 FPS. This camera hardware supports it, but Xiaomi's chosen not to enable it here. It's annoying to see Xiaomi not enable simple things like this. For example, the Redmi Note 5 Pro still doesn't have 4K. Why? The Redmi Note 5 does have it. Why not the Note 5 Pro? It's got a better chip, right, than the Note 5? Anyway, coming back, the quality of the 4K 30 FPS footage is good. The lack of EIS does hurt here. Now the next con would probably be the build. Now this can be a pro for some. It's plastic. The version you see me use is the Kevlar variant. It sounds nice in theory but doesn't feel as good as glass or metal back phones. That said, if you feel you're gonna cover the phone with a case anyway, this shouldn't matter to you, as the plastic used helps keep the cost low. My biggest pet peeve with this phone is the speaker output though. The stereo speakers with the earpiece does double as a second speaker. In theory it's great, but first, the output from it is negligible. You can hardly tell the difference. Now that's okay, but the speaker output at high levels tends to get distorted, which is definitely not okay. Maybe locking it to 80 or 90% via a software update can be a fix, but in that case the output levels will be lower than on other phones. So this is something I hated the most when using this phone. Now, next, let's move on to software. The POCO F1 runs on Android 8.1 with MIUI 9.6 built on top. It's the regular MIUI with the exception of an all-new POCO launcher that brings an app drawer. The software here has a few bugs, not deal breakers, but definitely worth mentioning. As we saw in our speed test, RAM management isn't great. What's the point of having 8 gigs of RAM if heavy games keep getting offloaded? Of course, there are people who are going to say lock it into memory or it's power saving. No. We made sure that power saving was disabled, and locking it into memory doesn't count for a speed test. You can't go around locking every app into memory. Theoretically, it would work then, but what is the point, right? It's about the UI, the interface, the software handling the apps, right? So anyway, then there is the lack of notification icons on the notification bar. It is called the notification bar, right? It is because of the notch. Yes, I get it, but they could have handled it better. And then there is calls getting stuck on speaker when switching from Bluetooth. We've already seen the stuff missing with the camera. And then there's the wideband issue. I was about to say wideband gate. We could start another gate. But anyway, what is wideband? It is a digital rights management service, and brands need to get their phone L3 certified to be able to stream Amazon Prime or Netflix in HD. And that's not something POCO seems to have done. Apps that require wideband L3 for HD, like the aforementioned streaming services, they are restricted to sub-HD resolutions. And what's super weird here is that wideband isn't something you need to pay for. So it's not like Quick Charge or something where they aren't paying for a licensing fee. So hopefully POCO can fix these. Now, these bugs are quite real, but it is no reason to panic. At least personally, I don't feel that's a reason to panic. As someone who imports a lot of Xiaomi phones, I've seen this trend in the past. At launch, Xiaomi brings a ton of issues with it. We don't get to see it. These get ironed out over a few weeks. By the time we get these phones in India, the software is already much better. The Chinese, they get the short end of the stick. The first few weeks after launch, the phones aren't great. There are a lot of bugs. This time, given that the POCO F1 launched in India first and not in China, we are seeing some early issues with it. Hope POCO can iron these ones out quickly. Now, the POCO F1 is not a perfect phone. No phone is. Even with these bugs, at the price of 21,000 rupees, the F1 is irresistible. The pros just outweigh the cons, and this is an excellent first phone from POCO. I definitely say must buy. If you can, get it in a flash sale, that is, because availability, just like with Xiaomi, is an issue for POCO. And now let's take a minute to talk about our sponsors, Bank Bazaar. If you are looking to shop online, say buy a new phone and need a credit card, Bank Bazaar can help. Just entering a few details lets you see the best offers on credit cards personalized for you. You get to browse through credit card options and compare. You can pick the one that suits you most, and the best part is, it's all paperless. You don't have to submit any documents or run around getting Xerox copies. Just upload them, get your card approved in 30 minutes. So go on, download the app today. I'll leave a link in the description below. With all that said, we get to the end of this video. This is what I think about the POCO F1. What do you think? Do you feel this is the best phone in the 2021K segment, or do you have a different pick? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And it's now time I bid you adieu. Thumbs down if you hated this video, like if you liked it, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any of our daily content. I still continue shooting when the electricity is gone. It's on generator, the air conditioner is off, and I'm sweating. If you think that's something you could give a like for, go ahead, do it. Anyway, just kidding guys, like, dislike, whatever you feel, that's all good. Till next time, my name's Ash, you've been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.